All right, C. C, where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
I'm from New Jersey, originally, but I've been out in California now since 2017, 2018.
Tell me about your family.
So
Up.
I grew up in like a pretty strict Italian Catholic home. My parents have been together since they were 16, which is super weird. Like they've never been with anybody else. They're still together. I have a younger sister. Who's about 4 years younger than me. Yeah, it was like pretty easy growing up. Like we looked like that picture perfect family. So like for me to have gone down the path I went down was like, I don't know. I don't know if I was like embarrassed of where I came from or like just couldn't make sense of it in my head.
You were embarrassed because it was so privileged?
Yeah, like especially like coming into like the rooms or like even being on the streets or like wherever I've been at different points in my life, and on this journey, it's like I hear these horror stories and it's like I always felt like maybe I didn't have a reason to use or like I didn't.
Like there should be some trauma that you went through or something like that?
Yeah, I mean there definitely is. I think I just like I'll never know what it's like to have to go between two parents' homes or like I always knew where my parents were. I never had to worry where a meal was coming from or like if there was running water, I always had shoes on my feet, like things that are like total questions now every day.
So why do you think you're down here?
I mean, like I kind of started using drugs a lot later than most people. I didn't get into like hard drugs until after high school. When I was 18, I got pregnant with twins. And when I was like 8.5 months pregnant, the father of them beat the shit out of me and I gave birth to both of them and they died.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so like that's kind of what kicked off my using. Because like I didn't do pills, I didn't do, drinking, I went straight to heroin. The fucked up part is like, for years, I just used it as an excuse, poor me, poor me. You don't know what I've been through. But yeah, I've like pretty much ran my life into the ground. And then I finally felt like I got out of it. Like I got off the streets maybe like almost 3 years ago.
You got clean?
Huh?
You got clean?
Yeah, I got clean August 2020. And then my fiance at the time died 45 days into my sobriety from heroin. And I stayed sober up until about last year and I got diagnosed with cancer and was in another hospital and I thought I had it. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm never gonna do drugs again. And immediately they gave me opiates in the hospital and I was like, oh, that's it. I was at a different hospital the next day, like asking for like morphine again. So it was like really gradual this time because like I had my own place and I had a job and a car and I built up this life. So it took a little bit longer for the stuff to physically kind of start going away. And a couple months ago, like I came back down here. I'd moved to San Francisco.
So you had cancer or you did not?
No, I had cancer. Yeah, I went through when I was up in San Francisco. I was going through like radiation, like targeted radiation monthly, and then
What kind of cancer?
ovarian. So I have one ovary. The hope is I can have kids again one day. I think that's like also super triggering for me.
How old are you?
25. I'll be 26 in October. So that's the other thing is like I have health insurance and I could literally walk away from this at any point. And I think that's what like fucks with my head is it's like my parents, like because I put time together, like there are people who are like, oh, come get sober. I have people calling me or whatever. Like my car, someone slashed all 4 of my tires the other day. Someone stole my keys. Like it's just like I've had every opportunity to leave and I just like I'm constantly stuck obsessing about like it's not even heroin anymore now. It's like I started smoking crack and like that's by far the worst. I've never been addicted to something. Like I could be having a great day, everything's fine, money in my pocket, like healthy, been sober for a month, and all of a sudden it's like the thoughts just start and it's like I don't care, so it's like
What are the thoughts?
just like how like it's like crack all day. Like I want to go smoke crack, I wanted this, I wanted that. Like I don't know what it is. It's like I've, like with heroin, you're physically addicted. Like that makes sense to me. Like I wake up and I'm sick, I have to use, It's like, oh, I don't want to go detox and I don't want to go through the pain. But like it's something like a crack cocaine. It's like, there's no physical withdrawal. I wake up the next day and it's like, maybe like I'm tired or I'm irritable, whatever. You take a shower, you eat, you're fine. But it's like the mental obsession. I've never had that before. So it's like, I don't know, I don't ever remember it being so difficult for me to get sober. But maybe I was like ready before. I mean, I thought I was ready. Even now, it's like, I'll go to rehab, I'll leave. I'll like make a phone call, go stay with a friend for a couple days, try to sober up, and then I'll leave. Come right back down. And it's like, I don't know, like someone said to me the other day, they're like, see, like you're not ready. Like just stop fighting it, you're not ready. Like, so I finally just got honest with everyone in my life. I'm like, listen, I'm not ready to get sober. Like this is where I'm at right now. And it's like not ideal. It's not like I'm running around having the time of my fucking life.
Currently you're using crack?
Crack and fentanyl.
And fentanyl too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you stay? You're in your car?
No, I'm not staying in my car because I'm too afraid. I had to like kind of hide my car. It took me like 3 weeks to get my car fixed, to get new keys and a new battery in it. And then somebody was mad at someone I was hanging out with and slashed all 4 of my tires. So it's currently like sitting somewhere on all flats. My dad doesn't even know, and the car's in his name. So that'd be great. But no, I'm staying in like, I'll just like hop around from like 10 to 10 or like just like ride my bike around all night or I don't know.
Wow.
Stay in like apartments, abandoned houses.
What do you do for money?
I guess it depends. Like sometimes I can like, man, I'll like lie to my parents like, oh, I'm going to rehab, or I don't know, like sell clothes, sell shoes. I'm in a relationship, which is like, oh, cool. Like you have a boyfriend on Skid Row, but it's like great because I don't have to sleep with anybody for your money, which is like typically something that would have been like really like a big thing in the past. But it's like, I don't know, I just figure it out. There's something that, like whether it's like my taxes that come in or I'm getting unemployment now, hopefully. So like I'll make it work to the best of my ability. I've like robbed people. I've done some shit too. So
if you had your life to live over again, would you have done anything differently?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't love where I'm at now, but like even when I was sober, like before I ended up down here, like even on my way coming down to go to rehab, like I'd stop here and like I just moved everything out of my apartment in San Francisco, so like I had a bunch of blankets and pillows in my car and clothes, and that's like I'll get out of my car and I'll like be like, oh hey, what's your name? Like you want some water? You want a blanket? Like I ask people the same couple of questions, like what's your name? Like what's your situation? Like why are you down here? And like what are you passionate about? Because like I remember last time when I was homeless out here, like it's weird because like you're invisible to like this like certain class of people. It's like, oh, they're grabbing their purse, they're grabbing their kids, they like don't want to be near you. But then it's like you're also like super exposed, like everyone, like, you know, like there's nowhere to really hide. You don't have anywhere to go. So, you know, like the family I come from, like my mom and my sister are really like kind of stuck up and maybe like a little bit fearful, so they don't know. But I don't know, like I don't know, I just know what it feels like. Like, we're still humans, you know? Like, we're no different than anyone else. We just have a disease. You know, you don't tell someone with cancer, like, oh, no, like, you don't like, bully someone with cancer because they have to take chemo. You know, like, unfortunately, like, when you're an addict, you have, like, this disease, like, in your brain, and it tells you don't have a problem, and it tells you, it's like, okay, cool, if I do this shot of heroin, I'm going to die. And it's like, okay, cool, I want to go do that. Like, it's not right. Like, my brain is not right. Like, I can't explain it.
Is there anybody else in your family who struggles like this?
Well, it's funny because like my whole life I didn't think there was, but I found out a lot later on my mom's biological father died of a heroin overdose. So a lot of my mom's side of the family has addiction problems. My dad's side, there's no one that we know about. And my mom, not growing up, she didn't really drink much around me or my sister, but now as an adult, she's pretty bad. I can't really obviously diagnose anyone as an alcoholic or an addict, but I would say she's pretty unstable and out of control with her drinking. So, yeah.
Do you have dreams of doing anything else with your life?
I mean, yeah. I when I got pregnant with the twins, I was in school. I wanted to go the medical route. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a surgeon. I know I want to help people. I was like working in a nonprofit business before as like an executive assistant, which I didn't love, but because it was like really boring and slow and not challenging for me, but it did like get me out of like chaos and it did keep me on a schedule. So I think at some point I just want to own my own business. I'm like really creative, probably something in the beauty industry. I do have my cosmetology license. But I just want to do something where I'm somehow benefiting people or giving back or Like I want to be doing something for other people. I don't want it just to be pointless, you know?
Is there a self-destructive streak in you?
Yeah. Yeah, I run off of emotions. Like I'm really, like I know like there's like a lot of therapy, like in DBT skills, they talk about like the rational mind and the emotional mind. And the goal is to be somewhere in the middle. And I'm like way far left in the emotional mind always. Like everyone's like, oh, like feelings aren't facts. And like my life, like every feeling is a fact. And it's like, it's super impulsive. Like it's an immediate knee-jerk reaction with no thought that goes into it. Of course, I feel like shit afterwards, but it's like I don't care in the moment. You know, there's no pause there for me.
What emotions are you going through?
It's like up and down. Cause like
shame and guilt?
A lot of shame and guilt. A lot of fear. Like I'm in a place where like you can't really be vulnerable. Like I cry a lot. It's like not really a thing you can like do down here. Like people will see that as weak. And I've already, in the month I've been back down here, I've gotten myself into a couple of situations. So, you know, it's like, fuck. I don't know. I try to be strong. And people say that they think I'm really strong and resilient. I don't feel that way on the inside, but I kind of just try to stay positive and like get through to the next day. I'm like hoping at some point, like I keep like praying to whatever the fuck is up there. And I'm like hoping at some point, like I wake up and I have this like change of like thought that's like, okay, like let's do this. Like I'm ready. And I don't know if there'll ever be a time that I'm ready to get sober or not, but I'm just hoping that there's some sort of willingness that pops back up somewhere.
How long have you been in the streets?
I mean, I left home at 18, but like I said, I had about 2 years, almost 3 years sober. And then like another period, like a year. So like, honestly, like this is the first time I ever had my own place for a year, but otherwise like pretty much over the past 5-6 years, I've been like in and out of sober living treatment, you know, on the streets, in motels, kind of never really settled down anywhere.
But what do you think the answer would be to get you to straighten out?
I don't know. Like I wish I had the answer. Like I don't know.
It's not common sense. It's not like,
no,
because you seem intelligent enough to know.
Right. And it's like, oh, like, okay, cool. I have insurance. I can go to some bougie ass like treatment center in Malibu. Like a lot of people can't do that, but like that's never worked. Like I don't want to go sit in some mansion. Everyone's like, oh, but you could just go sit with a private chef and lay by the pool and what the fuck is that going to do for my sobriety? Like it's not going to do anything. It's going to, you know.
But what do you think people that are not in this life don't understand about it?
I think people just I think they're ignorant. I don't want to say that they don't. I think everyone has gone through their own level of like trauma and like life experience, but I think people need to stop and be a little bit more compassionate and understanding. Like, it goes back to that rule they teach you in fucking kindergarten, like treat others the way you want to be treated. Like, we're all the same. We're all just trying to get through 24 hours a fucking day and do the best we can. Maybe not everyone wants to try to be a better person every day, but I think everyone at their, like, to their own extent and their own capacity is like doing the best they can. Yeah.
What's your biggest fear?
That's the problem is I don't know what my biggest fear is because I'm not afraid to die. I think maybe my biggest fear is like never being able to be a mom, not being able to have kids and like not accomplishing anything in life. Like I've lost a lot of people. I've watched a lot of people die and they've left behind like maybe a box of clothes, you know. I at least want to be remembered for something great, you know?
Do you think there may be something like borderline personality disorder or something
Yes,
like that?
absolutely. That has been like the word of the year. The problem is people can't really diagnose you unless you have a substantial amount of time sober, and I didn't get diagnosed sober. So it's like there's that up in the air.
Is that what you suspect, though?
I don't know. I think that I'm easily persuaded.
And you're impulsive?
Extremely.
Yeah.
Extremely impulsive. Definitely a fear of abandonment. I definitely like cling to whoever I'm like running with. I always cling to like my whatever person's with me. So I think borderline would be an accurate diagnosis. But like when I was sober, I would tell you the complete opposite. So I don't know.
Yeah. What's your greatest strength?
Probably like the fact that like I keep getting knocked down over and over, and like the world has been pretty fucking cruel, but like
Yeah, you've hit some real big setbacks.
yeah, I mean, I get up every time. I don't stay down for too long, and nothing's gonna take away like how much I love or like I'm passionate about things. You know, I try to stay as positive as possible.
What's been your darkest point? Your lowest point?
Somewhere between my kids dying and like it'd be either that or like I had a situation a couple weeks ago where I got thrown in the back of someone's car, and like I don't think I need to go into too much detail about that, but just like some low moments. I've had to really take a really ugly look at myself in the mirror.
Yeah, it's hard for a female on the streets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely different for women than men, I'll tell you that much.
Is it different? Is it more difficult for an attractive white female than a black girl, you think?
I don't know because I'm not black, but I think there's just different struggles.
Yeah. I mean, all women are treated terribly down here.
Awful.
It's as bad as I can imagine in the United States.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But the drugs are here.
The drugs are here. That's the problem. That's the problem. You got like the shittiest like predators in the world, and then also like people who are struggling and like can't get sober. And there's that line of like where all morals and ethics go out the window on both ends. You know?
A lot of snakes.
Yeah. Definitely seeing the world through a totally different pair of lenses, you know? You think like all the stuff that they like show in like those gangster movies and like it was not real, and then you're like, holy shit, is this really like happening? The worst part is people just looking at them like, no, you're just way too high on drugs. And then you're completely like discredited. So I don't even waste my time trying to tell people anymore.
And what does your family think of your situation?
They want me to go get sober. Me and my mom don't speak. I don't think we'll ever have a relationship, to be honest. It's always been like that since I was young. My dad wants me to get sober. He is not the best at showing emotions or like communicating with me, but I know he cares. So it does suck. It does suck because I know he's like losing sleep. Like he's a fireman back home, so he rides the ambulance, and I know every time he picks up someone from an overdose, he's like worried and he like thinks about me. Or every time the phone rings, I know he's worried it's gonna be a call about me.
Have you OD'd?
Yeah. Oh yeah. A couple times. The last time I overdosed, they hit me with Narcan a bunch of times, and I guess before the paramedics got there, my friend said like I looked at her and I told her not to call an ambulance, and I don't know if she tried to like inject meth or cocaine or something to like wake me up, but I went into cardiac arrest when the paramedics got there. So like I'm not even 30 and it looks like I've had a fucking heart attack on my EKG. It's like nothing is like I think I hit rock bottom, and then there's like a fucking trapdoor. It's like, okay, cool. It's just become the norm at this point. It's just like really sad. Because I was like so far away. I thought and that's the problem, is I thought I was so far away from this. Like I got really cocky and like into ego when I was sober. Like I forgot that like it's one wrong move, one bad day, one wrong decision, and you're right back to where you started. It picks up right where it left off.
When you relapse, you relapse back at the spot you dropped off. You know, you quit at.
Oh yeah.
You're at your lowest point right away. You don't build up to it seems.
Yeah.
From what I've heard. See, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
I think I need to be more honest with myself and other people about where I'm at. It's like I feel like I have to put on this persona, that's like this front that I'm okay. And I should have maybe reached out a lot more when I was struggling in my sobriety. But but I have to get honest with myself first in order to be honest with everybody else around me. So.
All right. See, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I wish you lots of luck. You're super young yet, so.